I'm going to be setting the pinion angle on the dart today, and I wanted to make a video on this because there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube right now. They seem to be confusing to me. I watched a bunch of them. They've got you adding positive and negative numbers, and I've come across an easier way. I'm going to review it here, and then we'll go out and do it on the dart. And that's done with one of these pinion angle tools. These are pretty cheap, 30 bucks or so. A bunch of different companies make them. But basically the process is this. You're going to take a reading at the tail shaft housing, and that number is pretty much irrelevant. I think most manufacturers are going to be at like 3 degrees, something like that, 3 degrees down. So you're going to take that reading, and you're going to zero out the tool, and then you're going to take a reading at the pinion. And whatever number that is at the pinion is what you need to shim up or down depending on what that number is. So you're going to use that number to shim up or down to get you as closest back to the zero that you took at the front. So what that'll do is it'll put your pinion and your tail shaft housing at parallel angles. So let's go do it. Okay, under the car is on all 4 tires, no jacks or anything. Yes, I'm skinny enough to get under here and do this. So I've checked the reading here and at the tail shaft in the past with the seal out and the boot away, and it's the same as this. So I know I can get a good reading here from this. Just trying to get it perfectly flat. We're at what, 2.5, 2.7, 2.6. We'll zero it out. And there's 0. Okay. So now back to the pinion yoke. And this angle is a little more difficult to get the camera on because the muffler's in the way. But I've got the yoke clocked so that I can get this tool on here and possibly angle it back and get a decent reading, and hopefully it'll get in the view of the camera. This is down, so the transmission is pointing down, the rear end is pointing down. That's not good, and that should explain the vibration that this car has at what, 35, 40 miles an hour it starts. Alright, I'm going to try to call this a reading. 3.1. Okay. So that's my answer right there. I've got to get a shim that is about 3, because I'm moving the angle finder now back to 0. We want to be like back to 0, right? To be basically at the same angle as the drivetrain. Slightly off is good. So we've got 3.2 here, 3.1, and think about the shims available. I've seen them in 2, 2.5, 4, and 6. Another thing I've seen guys doing on YouTube to be able to put their shims in is they're jacking up their cars, they're taking off the U-bolts and using bottle jacks and all that to hold the rear end up. But what I do is I just let the weight of the car drop down slip the shim in, and then get it back up. Of course, that's easier to do when everything's clean and new, which this is, so that makes it pretty easy. And I do have the car supported. I shouldn't say supported. I have the jack stands under the car in the rare occasion that I screw up and drop these. I don't want the car falling on me. Safety first. You can see here it's starting to come down. And I think that's close enough to fit the shim in. These are Calvert Racing, 4 degrees. And we're shimming up. Slides right in there. These are 2.5 inches wide. And I'm not going to bring it all the way up yet, because we've got to do the other side. So. And that moved a little more than I wanted. You can see the pin come out of the hole there. Hopefully that'll slide back in place and won't cause a problem. And I'm going to hop over to the other side. Everything seems to want to be finding home, so that's good. And I can feel the car rolling back slightly, so that's a sign to me that the entire rear end housing is shifting upward. And back to the other side. Okay, back to the front of the car. We're gonna check our work. Same process again. Get on this tail shaft at 2.8 this time. We got zeroed out. Let's go to the back. Not too shabby. 0.2 up. We're good. There's two good things about a test drive. We get to actually see if we fix the problem or not. And it's also an opportunity to go to the dog treat store. Right, Roxy?